What's up, everybody? Thank y'all for tuning in. I'm SF Johnny, Seriously Focused Johnny. You were tuned in to Difficult People Chronicles. Today's episode is called Know This During the Spiritual Warfare. I hope everybody had a blessed week, peaceful week. Yes, peaceful. Regardless of what's going on in the world, I hope you had a peaceful week. Today, I want to talk to you all about going to God and asking, what is the lesson that you need to learn? And this is for those that are in a situation, even if they haven't identified if they're in a warfare or not. Go to God and ask, what is the lesson that you need to learn? The reason why I say that is because sometimes if you are in a situation or warfare and there's a lesson that you need to learn, and God tells you what it is and you start working on it, you will win the battle once you do what God tells you to do. And that's what I find. Sometimes we get into situations or things occur in our life where we sit back and after the situation has happened and we're talking to whether it be a family member, friend, or someone we know, acquaintance, we often tell them about the situation and the lesson that we learned going forward. And it often goes like, for example, God forbid somebody falls in the snow. Their first thing is that they'll say, I fell in the snow, and I know next time to check the weather to make sure that I put down the salt so I don't fall again. And that's the lesson that's learned. It's the same in warfare. Sometimes God will be telling you things that you need to do, like go back to fasting, go back to praying 3-4 times a day, go back to his promise of what he said to you and not doubt or have fear. Stop listening to the enemy, either in front of you, in your dreams, or in your ear. You gotta go and ask God, what is the lesson to be learned? What I found is that sometimes we are the lesson in the enemy's life. And sometimes they're our lesson. I'm gonna explain further. There are two people who one is an enemy to the other, and the other one is just minding their business. And they want to be done with the person. But God is telling them, stand, don't move. And God is giving the enemy time and time and time again to do what's right, but they refuse to. Because they feel that with their accolades, everything that they've gotten so far off of being evil, their disrespectful behavior, that because they have gotten so far with all of these things that they don't need to change. And God is saying, change your ways. Do what's right. Stand up for what is right. Humble yourself. And they refuse to do that. And this is what I said to someone over the weekend. Every time the enemy goes up against you and God is telling you to stand, telling you not to move, telling you to obey his orders, that is a strike against the enemy every time that enemy attacks you. My TV just turned on out of the blue. Yeah, back to what I was saying. That is a strike against the enemy. So when it comes time for the enemy to go in front of God, go under judgment, be punished, it's going to be all those strikes they did against you because you are their lesson. But what's more importantly too is that you need to make sure that your lesson is learned from the enemy. Like if there's a lesson that you need to learn, you need to go to God in prayer and ask God, what is the lesson that you need to learn? Because you don't want to go through the situation over again. And when God says that he is done with the enemy, then you'll see what God does to them. The longer you prolong working on yourself, it's going to feel like you in hell the longer you prolong working on yourself. Because you can be in a situation where you start sliding downhill, depression, need to be humbled, start losing battles, losses in your life around you, or something going on with you, God forbid. And that's why it's important to work on yourself, because God will give you peace in this fallen world. There are countless people who went through some things because they just felt like they were bigger than God and they refused to work on themselves. King Nebuchadnezzar, he was driven to live like an animal until he acknowledged God. Then you got Haman. He let his pride get the best of him. And he was executed. The same place that he built for Mordecai in the book of Esther, chapter 7, verse 10. And sometimes God will make you lose battles because you're not listening to him. You refuse to obey. Think about how many times the Israelites lost battles, or King Saul, he was defeated against the Philistines in 1 Samuel chapter 28. You want to work on yourself so that when God is talking to you, you obey, do exactly what he tells you to do, so you can win every battle, so he can walk with you, so that whatever warfare you are in today, you won't be in tomorrow. Ask God, what is the lesson to be learned in whatever situation you are in? Back to the situation where I was talking to the person, I said, it's not all the time that a person is our lesson. Sometimes we are their lesson. And when God says, stay in that position, that's the reason why. Because he's given them countless times to change. And every time they refuse, it's a strike against them. And when God decides to raise his mighty hand against them, it's because they need to be humbled. They need to see the consequences because of their actions. God knows the hows, the what, the why when it comes to our struggles, walks, battles, our connections, our health, our tears. He will destroy, dismantle, he will sever at the root, he will confuse our enemies, he will choke them out. There's nothing hard for God. There's nothing he won't do for us. Ask him about the lesson in all your battles. So that's just something for y'all to think about. And that's it for today. I want y'all to have a blessed week. Get into fasting and praying. For more, check me out on YouTube, like, subscribe, click the notification. For suggested topics, email me. Love me more and I love you more. Later.